Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm here at Dimmitt Jaguar in Clearwater, Florida, and this is a Rady's Rides first. I'm very proud to say we have a 2020 Jaguar F-Type R all-wheel drive. This is amazing. Let's talk a little bit about Jaguar history. So that famous British brand started back in 1922, if you could believe that. And over the years, they have made so many great models. The XK120, you got the Jaguar D-types, so many amazing models. And it blows my mind sometimes because I think that people overlook them and they forget about them. They're always going more towards Ferrari or Lamborghini or Audi or Porsche. Jaguar has such a rich history, especially when it comes to racing. And you know how I feel about racing. I know how a lot of you feel about racing. They've won the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the greatest endurance race of them all, 7 times. The 1950s was really the heyday. The last time it won was 1988 with those Group C prototype cars. But let's go ahead and take a look at this 2020 Jaguar F-Type R. Right off the bat, I love the styling on the F-Type. It screams cat. It screams Jaguar. Headlight design, so spot on, full LED. I love the way they have some design inside the actual headlight housing. As you come down, full functional venting all the way across. There it is, that Jaguar symbol, so much heritage. This, like I said, is the R version. So at the end of the day, supercharged V8, 550 horsepower. I love the way the lower splitter is built into the front fascia, but all the way across, just so aerodynamic, so perfectly shaped. I love this British icon. Up onto the hood, look at all the beautiful body lines. One here, then you have another subtle one here, then you have the 2 major ones in the center, and then the same thing on the side. Functional heat extractor, so we're gonna draw hot air from underneath that engine compartment as we come around to the wheel setup. On this particular one, 20-inch wheel, 255 width, 35 series tires. I like the way that they have the screws in there, the torque screws. You got massive Jaguar branded calipers. Look at that rotor. That rotor is over 14 inches in diameter. Like the style, really just this whole thing is murdered out with the black, and nice red caliper. That's a nice touch. As we come down into the fender, I like the venting on the side, the Jaguar script. I think it would look really cool if the Jaguar was actually in red, kind of to go with the emblem, with the caliper. I think that would have made it just pop a little bit right there, would have been perfect. Very low greenhouse on this thing. Roof, look at this roof. That is full carbon fiber, so you're gonna cut almost 10 pounds off the top of this Jag. That's gonna help lower your center of gravity. Beautiful doors. I love the way the door handles are integrated. Nice, flat, aerodynamic. As we come down, speaking of aerodynamics, you have a nice side sill, kind of peeks out, flares out, and then all the way to the rear fender. When we talk about the rear tires, obviously we're still talking about a 20-inch wheel, but now we look at 295 width, 30 series on the back. Just a beautiful setup on this thing. It is drop dead gorgeous. As you can see, massive rotors even on the rear of the car. A little bit of extra body work comes out to keep everything nice and tidy, nice and tucked. And I love just the fastback stream down roof line right into this rear hatch area. When we come to the rear of the car, you got your F-Type logo. Love the taillights. Taillights are spot on for this type of car. Even the exhaust, it's like they perfectly come out just enough, not too much. I love the way they're staggered, and then you got a massive rear diffuser. When you hear this thing fire up, it's gonna make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. We got the Jaguar logo right on the hatch. This is actually a hatchback. This whole portion is gonna open up, and we'll show you that. Even, let me just point out some things that maybe you never even noticed. Look at how they integrate the third brake light, the LED third brake light, into the roof line. Very nice, stylish. Here's a little quick quiz question. Does anybody know when the federal government made the third brake light regulated that it had to be on all cars? 1986. If you were right, I'll send you a prize. But let's go ahead, pop the hood, and take a look at that supercharged V8. All right, guys, time to pop the hood on this Jaguar. Before we do, though, I just love staring at the lines of this car. The wheelbase is so perfect. The proportions are so perfect. When you go to open up the hood on your Jaguar, you're going to lift it up backward style. We got dual hood struts to keep everything up, and that is where you're going to see that supercharged V8. So like I talked about at the beginning of the video, all the wins from the 24 Hours Le Mans, those 7 wins, all that tradition, all that heritage, all that technology winds up into your F-Type. What you're looking at underneath all that plastic, which I am going to zonk it because there is a lot of plastic, but what you're going to see is that 5-liter V8 supercharged, made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 550 horsepower, and you're getting all the power down by the all-wheel drive system. 0 to 60 in about 3.5 seconds. Top speed, almost 200 miles an hour, quarter mile in about a tick under 12 seconds. And if you're wondering about MPGs, you're looking at about 16 in the city, 24 on the highway. Weight on this car is around 3,900 pounds, but just something unique, something different. Everybody's got an Audi, everybody's got a Porsche. Get a Jaguar. You'll have something that sounds very special. Speaking of sound, let's go ahead and fire up this F-Type R. All right, guys, we're sitting inside the F-Type R, the 2020 Jaguar F-Type. I'm telling you, this thing feels like a race car. Sitting in here, unbelievable. If you're wondering, well, what is this feeling and power and all that? How much does that cost? You're looking at way this one is option, $112,000. Let's see what you get. To the door panels. On the door panels, lots of black leather. There is a lot of black, but I'm okay with it because they got nice red contrast stitching. I love the brushed aluminum trim around the seat controls and everything. These seats are 18-way adjustable. Now, I am gonna zonk the door handle to open up the door. It's just black plastic. Don't like that. It seems that they took the black plastic from the engine cover and brought some of it in here, right in that area. So I don't like that, but I do like the leather wrapped dash. Watch this. You see this old guy right here? You push that, there's your glove compartment, lots of room, but just something different, a little bit of stitch work here. AC vents. When you turn the AC on, the vents pop up. When you turn it off, the vents go down. So that's a pretty cool feature, just something different that you don't see very, very often. So that's really cool. And then you see the carbon fiber here, which is really nice. And you see, watch, I'll make it go back down. Here we go, shut off. It takes a few seconds. You got the wonderful dry weave carbon fiber. There go the AC vents. Now it's nice and slim. It's Florida. I'm hot. I need the AC back on. 10-inch wide infotainment screen. You got your navigation and stuff. You got everything that you would want for the functionality. Let me put this car into reverse real quick. Watch this. Look how clear that image is. It's like clear as day with the directionals, all that good stuff. You know, very, very nice setup when it comes to definitely your backup camera. To put it back in the park, we just hit P. Now we're back in park, which is exactly where we want. Touchscreen, as you can see, dual climate control. I like the knobs. They got a nice, almost feels like a tire material around it. Heated seats, ventilated seats. You got some nice toggle switches here. More of that dry weave carbon fiber. Here's your start, stop button, nicely placed. Little bit of gloss black, and then you have different switches to go into your different modes. You got that adaptive exhaust that you could adjust the sound quality. You could shut off and turn on the automatic start-stop feature. Electronic e-brake, love the leather. You know how I feel about covers. I'm so glad they went with a cover here. Look at this, they got brushed aluminum inside the actual cup holders, which is a nice touch, especially if you want to keep that drink nice and chilly cold. We'll close that up. You got a center console storage area, felt line, which is wonderful. And then even like a little tiny net to put some stuff. The best part though, the seats. These things look like racing seats. Love the material. Love how the red stitching is just so spot on perfect. You got the red seat belts to match. The R logo is back in the headrest. A little bit of brushed aluminum trim right here, which is really nice, but I like the way they're perforated. And I'm telling you, I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of headroom. And speaking of headroom, look at the headliner. Nice suede Alcantara material, which is a nice touch, but you got plenty of room. Frameless mirror, you know how I feel about those. That's a big thumbs up. But why don't you come on over to the business end and I'll show you behind the wheel of this Jaguar F-Type R. All right, guys, behind the wheel, the business end in this kitty cat. I love what I'm feeling. I love what I'm seeing. I love what I'm experiencing. So basically, you have a nice, thick, racing style wheel, flat bottom wheel with the R logo. I am gonna zonk this area. I do not like this horn button. It looks like it's right out of a Mini. I kid you not. If you were to take that Jag off and put a Mini logo, you would have so many people fooled of what you're holding on to. So I don't like the horn button, but I like the brushed aluminum. Controls very simple. You have your paddles on the back portion of the steering wheel. You even have silver trim, nice fancy trim. They're better for MSRP of $112,000 on your turn signal, on your windshield wipers. And the gauges, they're perfect. You don't need a bunch of digital stuff. You do have digital in the center, but you have analog tach, analog speedometer. You got your gear indicator at the bottom. So very, very nice, clean, concise setup. You have leather on the hood, which is a nice touch, but just a wonderful setup in this Jaguar. Let's see what kind of storage you could have in this car because, hey, would you want to try to daily drive this? Let's go find out. All right, guys, what kind of space can you have when you get a Jag like this? Electric assist, and then surprisingly quite a bit of room here. You can see that you get nice little interior care car kit from Jaguar. You get some secret prizes in here. It's like a Cracker Jack box. Who knows what you're gonna get? But surprisingly, there is a lot of room, and I really think that no problem you could daily drive this without any worry if that was something that you would want to go after. Still doesn't have as much room as a Corvette, but still pretty good amount of room. You push the button, down it goes. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. All right, guys, we just left Dimmitt Jaguar here in Clearwater, Florida. We're in the 2020 Jaguar F-Type R. I'm telling you right now, this thing drives so well. If you've ever wondered, hey, can I have that high performance car as a daily driver? Yes, you can. Like we showed you earlier when we were doing the interior, you have actual trunk space in the back and could use this with no issues. Love all the fit and finish. Everywhere I look, everywhere I touch, it's very, very nice. Remember, you're mated to that 8-speed automatic transmission, to that 550 horsepower supercharged V8. And the crazy thing is, it purrs like a kitty cat. We're sitting here at a light, nice and smooth, AC's on. Love the feel of the steering wheel, love the layout of the gauges. Now, some people might say, hey, I want a nice full digital layout with everything all nice and fancy and whatnot with all the technology. To be honest with you, I like the good old analog tach and speedometer. I think that's really the best way to do it because it's so easy to read, and I like the font that they use, and the colors are really nice as well. As we roll away from this light, I'll get on it a little bit. Great sound coming from the back. When it shifts, the shifts are very, very smooth, very precise. And if you notice, I let off throttle and it's still holding the gear. I like that. It's nice to not have it chase through the gears so that when you're ready to get back on, you're good to go. Through this little left-right transition, very smooth. I like the way that the weight is transferring as I go from left to right. With the all-wheel drive, you're gonna have that sure-footedness, even with the roads being a little bit damp, and that's also a nice feature to have that on some other sports cars you're not gonna get if you were going, say, a route of a Corvette or whatnot. But I love the proportions of the car. Visibility out across the hood is spot on perfect, and I know that back window's a little tight, but you know what? With the rear view, you have real great visibility, and the side mirrors are awesome too. Probably one of my favorite parts, especially being like you, a car enthusiast, is the cracks, the pops, and all the sound coming from the back of the car, which remember, you can adjust that volume depending on what setting you put it in. But just real easy to drive, and I think that's really the best part of this car, is that it's not one of those cars that's just gonna scare the hell out of you and then you're never gonna wanna get on the gas pedal ever again. You feel comfortable and you could build up to that tempo, that momentum. And at the end of the day, you know what? you drive it to work, then you could go take it to the track and do a track day or an autocross event. Or hey, if you're lucky enough to have some nice twisty turns where you live, this thing would be a ton of fun. But rolling out on throttle, shifts nice and precise. You let out. I love the sound coming from the back, nice and smooth. Controls, layout in this car is spot on. So love the infotainment screen, nice and wide. The dual climate controls are easy to see, easy to understand so that you're not chasing all over the place. And the seats are perfect. Now, there are times that you could get into a more sports car type seat and you feel like you're in a vice grip, but with this, it holds you just enough to where you're gonna be held in place, but it's not squeezing the life out of you like some seats that we've been in here on Rady's Rides. But just cruising around, very, very nice and smooth. Really think that this is a great option for somebody who wants something different. You don't wanna mess around with the Germans. You don't wanna go the American sports car route. You want something unique, you want something British, and guess what? That's why you need to get yourself down to Dimmitt Jaguar in sunny Clearwater, Florida. And thankfully the sun is coming out, because when we first started filming this, it was rain and we had to wait. All right guys, driving down here, like I said, nice, easy drive. I like on the digital display in the center, it tells you what the speed is, tells you your digital speed right next to it. We're in third gear. You got your coolant temp, you got your fuel gauge. Really just nice laid out. Everything seems to be exactly where you would expect it. And what's great about this car is not just the performance numbers, it's not just the way it looks, but also the history. Remember, Jag goes all the way back to 1922. They had those 7 wins at the 24 Hours Le Mans, so you get to drive that history, that tradition on a regular basis. And that's what makes it even more special. But we're gonna go ahead, get back to Dimmitt Jaguar, wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right guys, it's been a wonderful day here at Dimmitt Jaguar in Clearwater, Florida. Definitely gotta give a huge thank you to Philip and everybody here, so accommodating.